Dr. Allen.
I want to talk about poor kids. I know those. So this bill is intended to solve the problem of poor kids who are not getting a good education, and I want Representative Harrison to listen to me, please. Those kids who are not getting a good education are there in an F school, and they are now, by this bill, they can go to a private school. So you're going to go from poverty to the upper echelon. Those kids that I know, and I've always worked in a poor school, and I enjoy that. Some kids want to go to the art school, some want to go to the music school, some want to go to the drama, some want to go to the accelerated school. First, we mentioned there's no transportation. I want that to soak in. There's no transportation. The state's not providing any transportation. Where is the private school in my neighborhood that a child can go to? In my community, in my total community, in my district, I only know one private school, and that tuition is somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000. If the voucher's worth $9,000, and I take my kid to the private school, that one school that I know, I'm not going cross town, I'm not going to River Oaks, I'm not going to Montrose. If I take it to this private school that I know, with the tuition $30,000, they're going to tell me, okay, your voucher's worth $9,000. How are you going to come up with the other portion of that money? I can't. So I got to take my kid and walk back home and go back to my community school, which by all understanding should be the same as any school that's across town. So if you want to solve the problem, then you fix the school. You fix the school by putting in good teachers, you pay teachers, you upgrade the profession so that those children get the same education. Nobody wants to go to the hood, as we call it, and teach school, so you put an incentive on that. Those kids cannot go to a private school because some of them have large families, 3 or 4 kids. So if you're going to disperse them all across town, it's not going to happen. We're going to have a savings account. I don't have the first money to put in the savings account. If I had money to improve my school, I'd provide for my children with other incentives. So you're talking about poverty here. You're talking about, I may not have a car to get my kids across town. You got to understand that. I don't have food on my table every day. I'm in a survival mode for life. So these kids will not have that opportunity. On the other hand, those persons who already have their kids in private school get a $9,000 voucher. They get an extra incentive to help them across town. So you need to think about, maybe you don't think about someone who has $1 million and someone who maybe like me with my $7,000 salary or less. Some people are not even making what I'm making here, living in poverty, can get their kids across town. We need to think seriously about it, and if you have not lived in that situation, you don't understand it. When you say it's going to solve education, think about everybody, rich kids, poor kids, middle-class kids. Think about everybody and think about them sincerely. You're not providing anything for poor kids. Are there enough schools? Houston has almost 200,000 kids now. Are there enough private schools to absorb all of the children in HISD? And I'm just thinking HISD. I'm not even thinking statewide. I can think of rural towns that don't have a private school to go to. So those kids are not going to get an opportunity either. We're leaving behind the majority of the children in the state of Texas. Of the 5 million children in the state of Texas, the majority are low income. So we're not solving problems for them. There are other ways to solve the problem. Make the schools better, make the profession better. We are now insulting teachers by giving them a $2,000 flat bonus one time. You think they're coming back? No, they are not. They are going to leave in bigger droves than they are now. This is an insult to teachers. And then you're going to say, no, we're not going to test you one time. We're going to test you 3 times. So that's 3 times the number of tests you're going to have. And children are committing suicide from all of this madness that we are putting on them. And I have been here now. This is my 19th year. This is my 20th, will be my 20th year. I have seen education eroded all the way down to almost zero. We have created the biggest monster I have ever seen. All my profession has been in education. I taught for 14 years. I was assistant principal for 1. I was a principal for 16 at 3 different low-performing schools. I love that arena. And so we all need to think seriously about fixing all of the schools, upgrading the schools, upgrade the buildings, upgrade the transportation, treat the bus drivers like they are important. We put our children on a bus, millions of children on a bus every morning with undereducated people driving them around. This is a sin, what we are doing here today. And so today I just want you to think seriously about education, and think about it 30 years from today. Did you know that 51% of these adults in the state of Texas are functionally illiterate? Functionally illiterate. Those are our parents. You heard them say, these parents can't function. They can't run PTO. When I was a principal, I had to run the PTO. I had to tell the PTO president what to say. When you get up and say something, say, president, blah, blah, blah. That's the way I had to run that. You got to think about it. And if you've never been in that environment, then you don't know. But you ought to ask and accept advice from other people. We are using our power to do what we want to do, and it's not working. If the educators say to you, this is what we need, you ought to listen. You ought to take it into consideration. Yes, you're in a position to make decisions, but they are bad decisions, all of them. And so get with the program. Thank you.